Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. Let the record show that this meeting was properly advertised and all board members are present tonight. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we like to offer public comment now and again at the end of each of our meetings. So if you'd like to make a comment now, you're welcome to do that. We ask that you keep your comments brief, respectful, and state your name if you'd like to do that. We will offer that at this point and again at the end. Sure, yeah, if you don't mind, take the podium. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jeffrey Leeser. I am here basically to try to learn more about the proposed discharge into Eagle Creek Reservoir and have a series of questions, but I don't know how this meeting is expected to run, so I'm not sure whether I should lead with questions or see what how the discussion proceeds.
Sure. Yeah, so generally what we like to do instead of answer questions back and forth in this forum is we're happy to meet after the meeting with you here and answer some questions with some of our experts if that works.
That would be fine.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we have no agenda items really related to it tonight either. So just a discussion afterwards. We can talk and share with you the data that we have. Ed is available and our engineers are here too.
Okay, that would be perfect for me. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else have a comment at this time? All right, we'll go ahead and move to our approval of our minutes from the February 4th, 2026 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to approve the minutes from the February 4th, 2026 meeting. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tonight is resolution 2026-01, and this is approving the Civil Wastewater Collection System Improvements Program, PPA and GMP. And looks like our legal counsel, Jeff Jacob, will address this for the board.
Thank you, board. This pertains to the 4-H Fairgrounds lift station project. There is a variety of technical elements that goes into this project. I would suggest if you have any technical questions or background needed on the project, Spencer Portish, John Leitner, and Ryan Otting are here. Otherwise, I'd be happy to read the resolution.
Please proceed.
Resolution 2026-01, whereas the city of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates by and through the Lebanon Utility Service Board, a municipally owned utility known as Lebanon Utilities for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient wastewater service in and around the city. Whereas the board finds it in the best interest of the ratepayers, the utility, and the city of Lebanon to expand, improve, and maintain the infrastructure of the wastewater system. Whereas the board authorized the issuance of a request for proposals for the construction and operation of the civil wastewater collection system improvements, which include constructing a new 6-foot diameter wet well lift station next to the existing lift station, installing a lift station and control package, replacing the existing lift station with a well structure and connect to the new lift station, connecting new lift station to existing force main, demolishing the existing can station, repairing and restoring the parking lot, grass, and trail disturbed from the construction activities, removing and replacing the existing light pole adjacent near the existing wet well, construct perimeter curb and fence to place stone in lift station area, inclusive of the 4-H Fairgrounds lift station project pursuant to Indiana law, including Indiana Code 5233. Whereas on or about June 4th, 2025, the board conducted a public hearing related to the RFP, the project and scoring committee recommendation to select F.A. Wilhelm Construction for construction of the project. Whereas after a thorough review of the various submitted proposals and recommendations from the scoring committee and input from staff, the board approved the response to the RFP by F.A. Wilhelm. Whereas the board recommended the negotiation of a public-private agreement for the construction of the civil wastewater collection system improvement program with F.A. Wilhelm. Whereas the board has received and reviewed the public-private agreement for the construction of the civil wastewater collection system improvement program dated November 14, 2024, and with F.A. Wilhelm for the design and construction of the project noted as Exhibit A. Whereas the board has received and reviewed the Civil Wastewater Collection Improvement Program GMP Report 1 for the 4-H Fairgrounds Lift Station project and staff's recommendation to approve the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service Board that the public-private agreement for the construction of the Civil Wastewater Collection System Improvement Program should be approved and adopted by the board to become effective upon its execution by the utility general manager. That GMP report number 1 is approved and adopted by the board to become effective upon its execution by the general manager.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Questions for Jeff, or as he mentioned, anyone else here that might speak on this resolution?
Guaranteed maximum price for this is $1,602,000. Just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Any additional comments? I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-01, approving the public-private agreement for Civil District Wastewater Collection System Improvements Program and GMP Report Number 1 with F.A. Wilhelm Construction Company, Inc.
Second.
Motion made by Ann, seconded by Bill to approve Resolution 2026-01, approving the public-private agreement for Civil District Wastewater Collection System Improvements Program and GMP Report Number 1 with F.A. Wilhelm Construction Company. Any additional comments, discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Move to our next item, which is the LEAP Collections Improvement Program, and this is supplemental agreement number 2. Looks like Spencer Portish from our water wastewater department is here tonight. Hey, Spencer.
Hello, good evening. This request is for the approval of the LEAP Collection System Improvement Supplemental Agreement Number 2. The agreement will be adding some additional scope items. Those 2 scope items being added are program management for a storage building as well as architectural design. I'd like to note that this was included in the original GMAX price for this. Upon some initial conversations with the contractor, we decided to pull this back and add it to a wish list. And that would be to be later added if we had some potential savings. That conversation has come up. We've had some potential savings, not necessarily recognized yet, but a part of the plan. So we'd like to get this added back in. And like everything else going with this, this comes out of the bond. So I would like to request for the approval of this supplemental agreement number 2, increasing the amount by $78,500 from $2,272,070 to a total not to exceed $2,320,570.
Right, thank you, Spencer. Questions on this specific agreement for Spencer?
So this is within the guaranteed maximum price?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve supplemental agreement number 2 for LEAP Collection Systems Improvements Program with Butler, Fairman, and Cipher, increasing the amount by $78,500 from $2,242,070 to a total not to exceed $2,320,570.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the LEAP Collections Improvements Program Supplemental Agreement Number 2 with a total not to exceed of $2,320,570. That's increasing by $78,500. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Spencer, it looks like we have another item here for you. It's the BF&S Wholesale Water Supply Phase 2 Construction Inspection.
Yes, sir. This request is for the approval of the wholesale water supply Phase 2 construction inspection. Inspectors will be provided for the installation of ground storage tanks, a booster station, and roughly 50,000 feet of water main. Inspectors ensure that construction standards are followed and ensure that contractors stay within the construction easement. This is part of the wholesale water supply bond. And I would like to note that there was a administrative error on my part when filling out the previous board approval request form. Mr. Smith helped me notice a little bit of a dollar change there. So you'll see that. I would like to request the approval of the BF&S to perform the construction inspection for the wholesale water Phase 2 project for the amount not to exceed $3,530,000.
All right, thanks, Spencer. Questions, discussion for Spencer on this construction inspection item?
What's the total budgeted amount for this project?
$4.6 million.
Huh?
It was a
No,
total
for
of
all- for-
4.6
for all
for
of
John, for all of
inspection.
Phase 2.
Total. Take it away.
Yeah, it was in the PER for construction inspection only is what was budgeted, so we're quite a bit under here. But looking at the overall budget, we had about $75 million for Phase 2.
John, I'm assuming reasonably the same crew we have on Phase 1.
Correct. Same crew, other than we do have to supplement. Some of Phase 2 will be happening at the same time as Phase 1.
Yeah.
But when we look at kind of all of our inspection group that we're going to have on all the various projects throughout, both LEAP and the Civil District projects, we're looking at somewhere between 10 and 15 inspectors out here at any given time. So,
And BF&S is well positioned to where that many inspectors will not otherwise impact your business?
that is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any additional questions or comments for John, Spencer, or Ryan? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve Butler, Fairman, and Seifert to perform construction inspections for the wholesale water Phase 2 project for the amount not to exceed $3,530,000.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Ann to approve the BF&S Wholesale Water Supply Phase 2 construction inspection for the wholesale water Phase 2 project for an amount not to exceed $3,530,000. Additional questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, it looks like our next item is the Tropical Smoothie Reassessment Agreement. This is an action item, but it looks like we'll be tabling this item. So if that's the case, I would entertain a motion to do so.
Make a motion to table the Tropic Smoothie Reassessment Agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve tabling the Tropical Smoothie Reassessment Agreement action item. This is item number 8. Any additional questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will table that. Our next item is the approval of our claims, payrolls, and transfers dated February 18th, 2026. Everyone had a chance to review those items, and if so, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve claims payroll transfers dated February the 18th, 2026 in the amount of $11,534,019.93 for claims and payroll and $0 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Ann to approve the claims, payroll, and transfers dated February 18th, 2026. Additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, anyone from the board have other business they'd like to bring up tonight? Ed, do you have anything for us?
No, sir.
All right, we offer public comment again at the end of our meeting, so if there's anyone who'd like to make public comment, I'll just mention again, please step to the podium, keep your comments brief and respectful. If you have specific questions, we would ask that you, after the meeting, meet with some of our experts here or schedule a time that's convenient for everyone to answer specific questions about any of the projects that you might have questions about. So we will have public comment now. If someone would like to do so. Hello.
My name is Spencer. Really, I just have a lot of frustration and issues about your plans with the Lead District, feeding wastewater into Eagle Creek. My understanding is that this water treatment that you're going to be doing on your wastewater is not going to remove all the chemicals from the water before you send them back into Eagle Creek. That's unacceptable. This is our drinking water. This is our park. This is less important than Meta and Lily's wallets. It is our drinking water. Last point I have here. You are literally destroying our world, destroying our planet, destroying our parks for the wallets of billion-dollar corporations that can afford it. It's unacceptable.
Thank you for your comments. Sir?
Thank you for your comments, sir. Good evening, Chairman and members. My name is Demetrius Hicks. I am the Pike Township Board President in Indianapolis, which serves as the legislative and fiscal body. Eagle Creek is my district, so I have a significant interest in the plans to take water from Eagle Creek and return wastewater from the LEAP district to the body of water. I'm coming to you as a fellow local official, and I'm incredibly concerned and disappointed that there was no professional courtesy given when it came to discussing the impacts of transporting water resources to and from the district. Cross-government communication is incredibly important, and like the communication with affected residents, there was none. I did not receive any communication about this project, not one member of the township board prior to moving forward. My district residents have told me they have major concerns about the environment impact, which is home to fishes, birds, and wildlife. We know this. We know this already. One thing is clear. This is your development, and you're asking us to pay for the environmental price. And I don't think that that's fair or appropriate, and that does not represent leadership. As a fellow local official, I'm sure you understand that the Pike Township residents are not going to sit back and allow this to happen. So I'm asking you, as another elected official, to please find another way. We have to find another way. There's too many concerning factors for us to ignore the concerns of our people, our community, and our constituents. So that is my ask to this body. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Hello.
Hi, my name is Jane Rapinchuk. I live in Zionsville, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address you. I was wondering what other alternatives to using Eagle Creek are available for the LEAP district. I know that the first plan to take water from Lafayette was squashed, and I think there must be other plans available to deal with the need for water besides taking drinking water from Eagle Creek.
Yeah, I'd be happy to discuss with someone after, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments tonight? Hello?
Hello, I'm Dawn Gleason from Indianapolis. I do appreciate you allowing us to come and speak. I am here on behalf of Eagle Creek. I don't live in Pike Township. I live in Washington Township. However, I've spent a lot of time outdoors with my kids and other people at Eagle Creek. I actually have 2 scouts in what's now Scouting instead of Boy Scouts who have used the waterways at Eagle Creek to learn kayaking. The plans that I've seen so far, and I've only been involved with this for about 2 weeks when I found out about it about 3 weeks ago, don't necessarily show me that there's been a lot of transparency between Lebanon and I don't know who the group even was last week that was speaking. But with that said, I'm wondering if there's a possibility of many things. First off, a closed loop process, and I see somebody shaking their head no. I understand the amount of water. I've seen the photo of the water that's going to be coming out. So if a closed loop is not possible, I am going to ask this. I have friends who are in aviation. I have a son who's going to be an engineer. I know that on an aircraft, a 767, that there's a closed loop process in which those computers that run that plane, it's not humans anymore running the plane, right? It's a computer. That closed loop allows for that water to be used over and over and over again. So if there's no option for a closed loop, which I think the person 3 over shook their head no, then that answers that question. However, with the advances in technology, I'm hoping that you will consider that to be an option. I know from living in Indianapolis that 1.3 million people go to that park every year. The Grand Canyon has 4 million people that go to that park every year. 1.3 million is a significant number of people that come to Indianapolis to go to that park. If you look at the economic impact, the numbers of what will happen, not even looking at the environment, if you look at those economic numbers for the people that own houses in that area and what the increase in the value of those houses have been over the last 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and then you now say to them, having been in real estate, I'm sorry, but we do need to disclose to you what's happening in this park. That's going to decrease those values of those homes. If you look at the economic or the environmental impact, and am I limited to a certain amount of time?
Oh,
Okay, awesome. If you look at the environmental impact, which I'm sure all of you have been to Eagle Creek, I'm sure all of you have participated in outdoor activities. Some of you may even have children, grandchildren that you've taken to those places. In 1995, they released an otter into Eagle Creek Park. The otter, weirdly enough, 3 years ago, or 3 months ago, they just saw their first footprints of an otter in that water. If you dump that wastewater into Eagle Creek Park, if it's not clean enough for Lily to reuse, if it's not clean enough for your data centers to use, then the question becomes, how can it be clean enough for us to drink? Totally understand that the wastewater is going to be cleaned before it's put back into Eagle Creek. But I ask you to look at the economic impact, the environmental impact, the financial impact to people that live along that area, the financial impact to all of the hotels and the restaurants that are in that area. We don't have a lot going well in Indiana in terms of places to hang out. We don't. My kids have been scouts from 1st grade to 12th grade. I have 2 Eagle Scouts. Well, hopefully she'll have her Eagle tomorrow. But the point is, we don't have a lot of places in Indiana that attract people. If we're wondering why people are leaving the state of Indiana after they get their 4-year, their graduate and master's degrees, it's because there's not a lot to do here. If you are at all active, that is one of the things that lacks in this place. I will lastly say, because I could talk all night, is that the lack of transparency of going from the water being pulled out of the Wabash to the water being pulled out, our drinking water being pulled out of Eagle Creek and then being put back in to that reservoir that's not flowing water. It is not flowing water. It's a reservoir. It's a contained closed loop all on its own if you think about it. So I don't know what the options are, but I'd be very interested to know why the closed loop doesn't work. And I'm willing to stay afterward and talk to someone because I'm trying to learn more. What the other options are. I think I saw that there were 7 options available originally. So I'd love to talk to someone. And then the last thing I'm going to say, I don't know who said it last week, but of the people who were sitting on the board, somebody asked a question about why don't you reuse the water? And one of those people said, because after it's used multiple times, it's not clean enough to use again. If somebody says that and I have to drink that water, that's not right. And I don't think that you would think it's right either if you have to drink that same water. I assume since you're on the Lebanon board that you're not coming to Indianapolis to drink our water. But I have to drink that water every day, hopefully for the next 40, 50 years of my life, and I would like it to be clean water. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Anyone else like to make comment tonight? Okay. Yeah, Aaron?
And the final decision, Ed, is correct, if I'm correct. It's going to be 2028 before final decision is made about the clean water discharge.
Well, the construction would start in 2028 is what's on schedule at the earliest, but there's going to be decision points along the way, as we covered when we went to the meeting in Protect Pike County, where right now we're in the middle of the anti-degradation demonstration, and there's other steps along the way. And we're looking at, as the visitor mentioned, 7 different options, and we're still studying it and still doing environmental studies. So.
Yeah, I've shared my opinion pretty liberally with a lot of our staff about my desire from a risk management standpoint to have the discharge point within Boone County. And I just want to publicly express my hope that when the discharge point selection is finally made, that it will be within Boone County.
Thanks, Aaron.
Comment?
Yeah, we'll open it back up. You have a comment?
Sorry, yes. To answer this gentleman's question a little more thoroughly, this is Jeff Leeser, by the way, I believe that the construction permit to IDEM for the discharge pipe is scheduled, I believe, to be submitted July of this year, June or July. And I believe that the approval from IDEM for the construction of this water pipeline, of this discharge pipeline, is expected to come back about October or November of this year. So the 2028 is, the horse is long out of the barn. We really only have a few months, I believe, until this construction, till permitting for this construction is submitted.
Thank you.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, anybody.
Yeah.
Ed?
The permitting is going to, we're not going to do any construction until, or easement acquisition until the permitting's done. So the permitting process, will, I think that's accurate. I don't have it in front of me, but there's also a comment period on the permitting. So there, I would say that the horse is on its way out of the barn, but we're actually still studying it. So.
I'm pretty sure once the permit comes through, it's going to be a long uphill push. At least that's my opinion.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 4th, 5 p.m., right here in this building. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight.